I'm up nice and early and it's a beautiful sunny day and I'm off to Makins Fishery today. I've got a big match forthcoming, the Matrix Commercial Champs, and I was second in that last year and I'd like to do well this year, and because I'm a bit rusty, I definitely feel a bit rusty at the moment, I'm going up to Makins today and on a little open match on phase 2, which is where the Matrix Champs will be, conveniently. So I'm quite looking forward to this. It's a lovely place, Makins. Difficult place at times. Moody fish, clever old fish. They're very, very cagey at times. Very, very hard to catch, and sometimes they're easy to catch, but more often than not, they're quite difficult to catch. And you have to be a bit crafty at times, I always find. So, but my last visit there was a few weeks back on the Fishermania qualifier. I was second on the whole of phase 2 on. I was on Lagoon and I had 76 pounds, something like that, and that was about 15 carp, mostly down the edge, swapping from pellets, then to corn, then a nice run at the end on maggots. And that often happens at Makins. You can start on certain baits and then work your way through the card and then end up on a different bait on the same swim. It's quite, it can be quite technical. So or at least perhaps I'm confusing it, but you have to ring the changes, and these fish don't tend to like piles and piles of bait, and you have to be very, very careful. You have to start very, very cautiously at Makins, small amounts of bait, and when they're there then you can feed them some, but don't feed any bait when they're not hungry, because they will just disappear. They love backing off and they love just hiding, I think. So I've been fishing Makins for years and years and years, since Billy Makins had the place. I used to live just 12 minutes from the venue, and now I'm living an hour away. We'll give it a go and we'll see how we get on. Well, I'm at the fantastic Makins Fishery. I'm here very, very early. I wasn't sure if it's a 9 o'clock or a 9:30 draw, and it's 9:30. So and it's took me an hour and a quarter to get here. So I'm glad I set off early, to be honest. Gives me a chance to have a walk around. There's fish spawning everywhere and cruising and basking and crashing around. So it could be brilliant, or it could be rubbish today. So I've got a few days off, and I've got a big match coming up Sunday, so I thought I'd have a little look here. My wife's given me permission to have the day off because I've been a good boy. I've been doing loads of decorating our baby room, because I've got a young babby due. First one, I'm well chuffed. So she's let me go fishing today, which is nice of her, isn't it? Thank you, Mandy. I'm just going past phase 1, and this is lake 1, and it's everywhere you can see there is carp. Everywhere. We're going to have a walk up to phase 2, which is where we are today. This is Little Rep, tiny little lake, and as you can see there's carp all over the shop. I think there might be some mugging fish today, and this is Big Rep, a bit nicer looking. Look at these carp. Ooh. Everywhere you look, there's carp. Everywhere. Loads and loads of muggers. Loads and loads. Looks good, doesn't it? So I'm quite looking forward to today. So have a little walk up to Snake Pool as well. Now, this is Snake Pool, and I can hear some splashing there. There's definitely carp spawning up there. And on the paddock behind me I can hear some fish spawning. They've done a lot of work on this lake. They've dredged it. They've took a load of silt out so it's deeper, and I've not fished it since they've deepened it up. But yeah, there's definitely some fish spawning on that point there. Go on, give us a splash. Oh, you can see them, ghosties. There must be 1, 2, 3, 4, crikey. I can count 6 or 7 all up that edge spawning. Liverpool that might be in today. This is Crater. Really like this lake, quite a small lake, but look at those fish in the middle there. There's a lot of fish moving. Really well looked after, this place, as you can tell. Very undercut banks. You've probably got more depth down the edge than you have against the islands on this lake. Could be really, really good today, or really, really hard. I don't think it'll be anything in between. Hopefully it'll be the form. But there's fish everywhere, so it won't be for the lack of seeing them that we can't catch them. So, but I'm going to walk back to the HQ now. Quite looking forward to this, as I say. I brought all sorts of baits to have a bit of a play. It might be a 5-hour match, might be 6 hours, I'm not even sure about that. I'm going to pay my pulls, then we'll see. I'm out of breath. Peg 2 on reptile today, end peg of course. It looks really fishy to me. What little wind there is blowing my way, and I've got a willow tree to my left about 30 metres, pallet between me and the willow, then I've got a little pot out in the middle of the lake, and I've got an island I can reach with 14 metres as well. Loads of options. Lovely.
It works a little walking around, man.
Well, it's the next day, and to say I had a brilliant match yesterday would be an understatement. I've ended up weighing 177 pound 8 ounces. I actually filmed the weigh-in, but there was a bloke stood right in front of the camera. I think I can scrap that footage, but it was really good, for me at least. There's clearly a lot of fish in my peg. Drew an end peg, which is nice, isn't it? So hopefully back to form, drawing nice end pegs, not just end pegs, good end pegs as well. You know, the wind and everything was blowing my way. Everything was going my way, really, I think. So I really fancied it. And as it happened, I did catch a few. So early on, just 3 or 4 fish in the first hour mugging. That was very difficult. They were very difficult to catch. The thing at Makins I always find is the fish have very small mouths as well, so you do miss a few bites, whereas certain venues like Barston they've got huge mouths, but at Makins they've got tiny mouths, and I do think you do miss a few bites because of that. I've mugged mine on meat. I think pellets in hindsight might have been better. There's a neighbour's cat going mental behind me, and but eventually I've tried a short line, 5-6 metre line. I've plumbed up against the island. I've plumbed up all over the peg really, but I quickly realised the way I'm going to catch today is going to be mugging, shallow, and down the edges. It just felt like an edge day, so I've caught most of my fish towards the left hand edge where there's a willow tree giving a bit of shade. I think that helped as well on a sunny day. All that willow tree and the shade and the way the sun comes over during the day has definitely helped them come down my peg as well. But in the last 30-40 minutes I've caught a few down my right hand edge as well, so I had nothing to lose, so I thought I'll just fill it in there with a bit of ground bait. I say fill it in, I'd probably put 2 or 3 pots full in, that's all. And I'll also try feeding some casters down there. I had about a pint, 2 pints of old casters, so I fed a load of casters down there as well, just to see what had happened. And I had 3 or 4 fish on it, but to be honest, as soon as I cut the casters out and just fed meat and ground bait, it was better again. And that was the interesting thing. I expected maggots and casters or worms and things like that to be best down the edge, especially because it's spawning time. They tend to like all these live meaty baits. But I caught actually on meat, and that was definitely the best bait. Fed meat and pellets to start with, then meat and little plugs of ground bait, and then started I wouldn't say big potting, just putting a third of a pot of ground bait in and like 20-30 cubes of meat each time, and that seemed to bring enough fish in without me foul hooking. I haven't foul hooked many fish at all today, so yesterday should I say. So it's been a really nice, easy, I suppose a bit boring match, because I like being busy and trying all different things, but I just knew there was no need. Just fish down the edge and keep plundering them, and I'm not absolutely bagged, you know, as daft as it sounds. I don't feel I've caught really fast, but each fish is, you know, I've hardly lost a fish. I've had a couple shear me off through a platform leg, the next platform down to my left, but other than that I've hardly lost a fish and I've hardly foul hooked a fish. So yeah, it's been pretty good and a real nice pickup really. So I've enjoyed that. But no, it's a good match. I think £90 was second on Snake Lake, and £75 was second on my lake, on the peg to my right, fishing to the island. So to say there's a few fish in front of me would be an understatement. So let's hope that continues.